Today we're going to talk about the very first 24-unit multifamily property we bought. Hey guys, my name's Ariane and this is my better half Chris. We created this channel so good people like you can learn how to become financially free early as well. So we're actually in the middle of this series where we talk about how we started as a broke college students and how we retired at the age of 27 with passive income through real estate investing. So this is actually the climax of this whole series where we bought our 24-unit multifamily property. So if you watch our previous videos, you'll see that we bought 2 rental properties, then got distracted with flipping houses. And then when we realized that we got distracted and we were so far away from our financial freedom goal, we saw that, hey, like we actually need to catch up. And all those 3 years that we lost not buying rental properties, we gotta catch up now. So we looked at multifamily properties and said, this is it. This is how we're gonna catch up. We're just gonna buy a bunch of them all at once. So how we found this deal. So like you learned in the previous videos, we wholesaled and flipped over 500 houses. We started a marketing and sales company essentially to find all those deals. And from that, we learned that, oh, you can actually find people's information on public records and then send them mail. So that's how we found this particular property. We sent mail to people who owned houses and fourplexes and duplexes and all that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, somebody called and said that, ha ha ha, there's no way you would be able to buy this 24-unit complex I have.
More than you can afford, pal.
And
we might offer this much.
Right.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah, so it actually started very antagonistic. I think the seller was just trying to make fun of us. We sometimes will send out pictures of ourselves and they're probably like, ha, you know, like this little 20-year-olds probably can't buy this thing. I'm just gonna humor them. He was probably drunk and, you know, sent an email, whatever. So we actually replied and it was a long process because initially he was just making fun of us, remember? So we actually...
6 months, something like that?
Yeah, it took us 6 months from the first time he sent an email to us making a call. We actually met him through dinner when he was in town. He lived out of town. And it took us 6 months to develop this relationship for him to see that, oh, these people are actually real and serious. And I think they probably have the money and the financing to actually close on this 24-unit. So yeah, it was a long time, but eventually we did negotiate a contract and then we eventually closed. But Chris is going to talk about how we actually closed, because at the time we bought this property for about $1.3 million and we did not have $1.3 million in cash. We had maybe about $300,000 or $400,000.
Yep. So again, bank is the biggest financer of the property. We were going to go get a loan to get the 75% is what we thought. We had not bought any other multifamily property before yet, so we didn't realize that this agency debt existed and all these other cool loan programs existed. We only knew what we knew from buying single-family houses, which are conventional conforming loans. Hey, it turns out you can use those to buy a fourplex, which is really cool. Probably check out another video about that. But because that was all we knew, that was what we used, and in hindsight, I don't recommend it because what we got were 6 fourplexes. So we had 6 simultaneously closing fourplex conventional loans, each of which required their own appraiser. And if 1 in 5 appraisers is complete trash, guess which ones we got? Hey, nailed it. So there was a whole lot of stress, a whole lot of paperwork, a whole lot of documentation, everything that you have to go through for buying a home, all that paperwork, we had to do 6 times, even though it was the same paperwork. In hindsight, we would use one of those cooler loans that allows you to bulk them all together into one big, nice bundle. A lot less paperwork, a lot less pain, a lot less stress. 1 appraiser instead of 6 appraisers. But yes, it can work. It does work out. It's one of those situations where when you don't know what to do, you still figure it out anyway. We figured it out.
Yeah, it was actually really funny because like Chris said, we had 6 appraisers scheduled to come all at the same time.
Only 3 showed up. Nailed it.
3 showed up, so it was like so stressful. And like, you know, like all closings, there's a tight timeline, and so if the appraisers don't show up, oh no, are we going to close on time? And oh no, is the seller going to be okay with that? Right? So there was a lot of scrambling to be done. And that's why Chris says in hindsight we would not have done that. But hey,
Got it done.
The best thing to do is take action, just move forward, and hey, we still got it done. So next we're gonna talk about the plan when we purchased the property. So we bought the property for about $55,000 per unit. They were 2-bedroom, 2-bath units, and at the time, this was back in 2018. At that time, 2-bedroom, 2-bath units in where we live, Fort Walton Beach, could rent, if it was renovated, up to $875 a month. Now, the seller hadn't really, he didn't live in town, so he hadn't really been updating the properties or anything, so he just kind of kept the rents low. So the average rent at the time were about $600, and maybe some of them were paying $700. I think he maybe renovated one of them, but because he just wasn't renovating all of them to the standard that he could to get the $875 a month rent, we knew that there was a lot of room to actually add value to the property by renovating the properties and then getting that rent that people want to pay anyway for the nice new white shaker cabinets and granite countertops and luxury vinyl plank flooring and a nice new paint job, right? So like people were happy to pay that if we just renovated them. So that was the plan. We were gonna buy the property and then renovate each unit as the last tenant leaves and then rent it up to that maximum market rent.
And we had the skill set from it from our previous experience flipping houses, right? So these were all just, it's actually much easier to flip these little things because you can do a bunch of them in a row. Right? So we took the skill sets from our previous company to both find the deal and manage this renovation. But that brings us to our fourth point, which is management of the property. We aren't big proponents of doing self-management. We do have some people who are, but that's not our skill set. We learned in previous examples that we should focus on the things that we're actually good at and let someone else who's better at the pieces that we're missing do those pieces. So what we had to do was find a local property manager who was going to manage these properties. For our bigger properties, now that we have 2,400 units across the Southeast, we can use big regional property managers. But for this small property, what we needed to find was a local property manager because it's not big enough for the regional ones to really care. So we looked around for all the property managers in our area, did some interviews and figured out which one was going to do the best job for us. But as it turns out, property managers are usually, especially the smaller ones, are usually good in some areas and weak in others. So to find the best property manager for us was one that was good at all of the operations. So our property manager that we use now is very good at all the day-to-day operations, the maintenance, the keeping track of tenants, the leasing, all of those things. They're good at once you get people in the door. They were not great at marketing. So when our unit was vacant, nobody knew. In fact, I'm pretty sure that all of the tenants came from a walk-in basis. They walked into the office and said, "Hey, do you have any units?" "Oh, great, I'll take it." After just coming from a wholesaling company where we learned how marketing works, that was a problem that we were really capable of solving now that we had put the effort in to learn how to do that. So it was perfect for us. They were very good at the day-to-day operations, which is great for us, and we can turn on the marketing and blow up their phone. And their phone blew up, and all our units are rented.
So yeah, so that was pretty much the plan. So we did the business plan over a few years. We worked with the management company to make them better at some of the things they were good at. And we shored up some of their weaknesses, like Chris said, the marketing. So we helped them with like all the online stuff and marketing and making sure that we get the most amount of leads to lease the units too. One thing I do want to say is when we bought this first 24 unit, we actually got to about $10,000 a month in passive income within 6 months of buying it. And so that was when Chris actually quit his job. Because it replaced his salary, about $10,000 a month of passive income. So that's pretty much the climax of this series, right? Like this is the property that got us to financial freedom, and we are so thankful, so blessed that we were able to get there at such an early age. This has been about 3 years since we bought the property, and a lot has changed. And if you want to know what actually happened after, make sure you tune in to watch the next video in our series. Please click that like button and that subscription button and the notification bell so you can be the first person to know when that next video is up. I promise you, you will be surprised at what actually happened. So are we. It's a happy surprise though. So make sure you tune in to the next videos because we're sharing all of the things we've learned so that hopefully you can get there a lot faster than we did. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you at the next video.